famous saying that goes, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It's basically about not fulfilling your potential, not making it to the big dance, not being a success.
And this is the perfect theme for this episode, as we see two clubs who embody the always a bridesmaid. These two teams have the talent, the skills, the resources, the determination to make it to the next level, yet within the Premier's 15s, we just haven't seen that yet. So, what about Harlequins Women and Wasps Ladies?
Well, for Quins, they have made it to the big dance, finishing as league runners-up on 2 occasions. So for them, their goal is to win it. But for Wasps, they haven't reached that showpiece event, so it would have been a fantastic achievement if they'd reached that final. But this season feels a bit different, and not just because we have to film our intro outside. Giselle Mathers has made some blockbuster signings that have propelled her side into the spotlight and maybe even made them one of the favourites to win the league.
And that's what makes today such an epic event, as we have two of the best teams in the league coming head to head in what will be a huge London derby. Before we dive into all the action though, please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on those notifications, and check out Rugette's RFC. We will provide the link below.
Okay, Keisha, and you've picked a great game to start off your women's rugby show career. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Let's go. Now let's tell you a little bit about this matchup. Admittedly, Wasps fans will not be excited about this stat. In the last 5 meetings between these two opponents, Wasp lost each of the 5 times. And only once did they score more than 2 tries. In the 2018-2019 season, we do see a much more evenly matched competition. And within that space, it was literally a knock-on over the line in the last few minutes of the game that prevented Wasps from taking the victory over Quins. Now we know that Wasps have what it takes in the locker room to beat the Quins. And in fact, it only takes 1 game, 1 win to get that proverbial monkey off your back. Plus, we know that Wasps will be coming into this competition with lots of energy and vigour, especially as their game last week got cancelled due to the Bristol Bears having one of their members testing positive for COVID-19. So they'll be coming into this match, the first of the season for them, with all of the energy and excitement needed to put on a great show.
Looking at Quins, last weekend was almost a mirror image of their first game last season. Last season we saw them beat Richmond 101-0, and last weekend we saw them beat DMP Durham Sharks 103-0. So let's just get our heads around that. With the new laws in place, Harlequins beat their own record of points scored in a Premier 15s game with 10 less minutes to play. You could say that if you wanted to beat them, then focus on the area of the side that scored the most tries, and that should equal their strength, right? Well, wrong. Of the 17 tries the South Londoners scored last weekend, there was almost a 50-50 split between pack and backs. But you or Giselle Mather don't need us to tell you that Quins have got quality all over the park, and this is something they know very well.
Now this might sound really daunting for the Wasps, yet we have it on really good authority that they're coming into this with a lot of confidence, a spring in their step and a sting in their tail. Now it may not be so surprising as they've got 12 new signings this season. That's more than any of the other teams, apart from Wasps Women and, of course, the league's newbies. Giselle Mather has gone all in with her team selection, choosing 5 of her new summer signings to start today. Amongst them is England under-20 back row Sajid Kibaya, who joined from Richmond, and England 7-star Abby Burton, who make up a solid back row with Wasps legend Sarah Mitchelson. That meant that Red Rose Harriet Miller-Mills is pushed forward into second row. Elsewhere in the pack, youngster Maud Muir starts at 2, keeping out new addition and England international Heather Kerr, who makes her debut from the bench. With Lizzie Golden joining Loughborough Lightning, there was a gap at 10. That seems to have been filled by none other than Meg Jones, another England Sevens sensation. And speaking of England Sevens recruits, there are more in the back line, with Celia Kwanzai and Ellie Kildoon completing last season's top scorer, and women's rugby show back of the season, Abby Dow. If their starting lineup wasn't intimidating enough, check out the raft of names of the bench, including the returning Karis Williams to no less than 4 back replacements, potentially indicating Mather's tactics later this game.
When you win your first game of the season by over a century, there's very little tinkering which needs to be done. That is, of course, unless a national team calls up some of their players for rearranged Women's Six Nations and World Cup qualifying duty. So there are only 2 changes to Quinn's dominant squad from last week. Jane Conkle is replaced by Sarah Beckett at 8, meaning Emily Robinson gets her first start of the season. And in the backs, Chloe Rolly's call-up means that Emily Scott shifts from fly half to full back, allowing Ali Green to make her first start of the season. The finishers have amongst them former Wasp Ali Sheffield and debutante Rosie Dobson. Now, let's head over to our very own Adam Zolty, who's our man on the mic for this one.
So it's Ellie Green to kick us off here in this Allianz Premier 15's round 2 fixture. Obviously, we know that Harlequins Women play their second game, but for Wasps Ladies, this is their first this season. Quick tap now by Claudia McDonald. We know that she loves to do that, and how many times will she be doing that today? She's going to whip the ball out the back, it seems, to... Oh, it's Abby Burton there, making her first start for this Wasps Ladies side since joining from the England Sevens setup. Ball is out the back now to Meg Jones, who steps, hands off Rachel Burford. She spots the gap, flicks it up to Ellie Kildunn. Ellie Kildunn has pace. Can she use it? She goes past Ellie Green. She only has Emily Scott to go round, and she does! First score of the day to Ellie Kildunn. What a try that was. Meg Jones is going to try and add a couple of points here. Could be her first score since joining from the England Sevens setup, and it is. Aimka Kane with this line out. Does it go straight? Yes, it does, to Abby Ward, and now it's a chance for Harlequins Women to drive. They're inside the 22-metre line, which means they are allowed to do that as long as it doesn't stop, and it looks like it has, but no. Sarah Cox says play on, and that's what Harlequins Women do, and they drive on forward through to Wasps try line, and it looks like it could be a score. It is. Ellie Green now with the extra points without too much difficulty there. Ball whipped across from McDonald, and now it's a chance for Sadie Cabello. Great hands there. It's a chance for Wasps to press on forward, look to take the lead again. As the ball goes out to the left hand side as I'm watching it, Ellie Kildunn, who scored a great try, drops the ball, but Abby Dow has picked it up. She spots space, and she does what she's done so many times in the past, and that is score. Great try by Abby Dow. Another line out here, close to Wasps' own line. And it's a good line out there, and they're going to drive forward the Harlequins pack. I think it looks like Lucy Pack is going to try and give them a bit of a hand. I don't think they'll need it because they do have pace. They're good at this. And of course, Abby Ward scores the second try for Quins today. Ellie Green's gone through her steps, takes the kick and scores the conversion. Been a backwards and forwards kind of half here, but at half time it is Wasps Ladies 12, Harlequins Women 14. Let's see what the second half will bring. I think Leanne Riley wanted to take that quickly, but I don't think Sarah Cox was going to let her, but it doesn't matter because the Quins pack do what they do best, and that's use their strength to bulldoze forward. Have they got a try there? No, I don't think it is. It's just stopped short. Are they going to drive again? They're not going to go round. They're going to go over the top. That looked like Shauna Brown, and that was a very athletic try there for the England forward. Ellie Green adding the extras with not too much hassle. Ball coming forward again. It's a good run by Amy Cockayne. She's got the speed and she's got the footwork of her back, but she's so strong as well. Got great hands. The ball is driven forward there by the women in quarters. There seems to be space out on the left. And just like she did last season, almost in the same spot, Sarah Beckett scores another try for Harlequins Women. They're extending their lead. And now they are getting closer and closer to Wasps' line. I have to say, Wasps have been valiant in their defensive efforts today, but there's only so long, surely, that they can withstand this pressure as the ball is battered forward towards their try line. Harlequins definitely looking to get those extra points. Leanne Riley, bit of a pirouette there. I don't think she was going to get too far, but obviously there are options now because the forwards are lining up. They do have options out the back, but it looks like those pack players are going to use their strength and power to plough forward. Is it a try? Not yet, but someone from the back. Is that Abby Ward? Yes, it is her second try of the day, and that looks like it's Quins going to take this one home. Yes, it started off so well for Wasps Ladies. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep up the pace, and it ended Wasps Ladies 12, Harlequins Women 31.
Okay. Hello, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What a game. How does it feel to continue your winning streak?
Yeah, it's nice. I think we knew it was going to be a big challenge today. So Wasps definitely came out in the first half. So it was about us, going back to basics, finding a way, putting the pressure on in the second half. Nice to be, I guess, a bit more of a game of rugby in terms for a forward, in terms of mauling and scrum. So that was nice, as opposed to last week, which was a bit more free flowing. But like you said, to get another win, we're definitely happy with that.
Yeah, right. And like you say, a bit different. Do you feel adapted to the new rules now, or do you feel like it would take a few more games?
I think each game you've got to adapt to a different style or take advantage of the rules however best you can, depending on what's in front of you. So for us today, we went to the corners, we used the strength of our pack because we felt that's where we could apply the pressure, so it worked for us.
Yeah. And actually, I was wondering that, like, going into the game, your impression of how Wasps play and all of that, did you get put into a different position once you were in it? You're both learning new.
Well, I guess for Wasps it was their first game, so you can never read too much into your opposition. Yeah. I think the strength that we've got in our squad is that we've got threats all over the park, whether that's in the forwards, in the back three, in the centres. So I guess when it came down to it, it was seeing what's in front of us, seeing where actually we were making the biggest margins, and then that's what we went to in the second half, and it seemed to work for us.
Right. And how would you say, I know you touched on it, differs from the game with DMP last week?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the game v DMP was a lot more fast flowing. There were a lot more spaces through the middle, which fair play to Wasps, they didn't give us that. They didn't give us an inch. We really had to work for every metre that we got today. They definitely put the pressure on our breakdown, and physicality is something that I think we'll go back and we'll look at and we'll definitely work on.
Yeah, great to be back. So you're off to play Exeter next week. How do you think you'll be prepping for that game?
We'll probably recover well tomorrow from this. I think there'll be a few sore bodies. We'll maybe go away, look at areas that we need to improve, areas that we can tighten up. I think there's a lot of stuff that we can look at, we can work on, and then we'll see what Exeter have got to.
Yeah, great. And personally, you had a great game, couple of tries in there today. It gives me great pleasure to say that you are today's Women's Rugby Show and Rugby RFC Player of the Match. So
Thank you.
What we're going to
Hi Celia, so this is your first game back. How does it feel?
So good to be back playing. I haven't played since December last year, so yeah, amazing to be back on the pitch, really enjoying it. It's been a long but short pre-season, and I think it's so good to be back playing.
Excellent. Now you're more known for the fantastic work that you do on the England Sevens pitch. How does it feel to be playing 15s?
Yeah, it's strange actually. I'm quite new in comparison to a lot of the players to rugby, so I only played a few games of 15s in the first year of the Premiership, so yeah, it's strange coming back to playing 15s. Obviously in sevens you've got so much space, and I'm a power runner, I'm a speed, so that's what I bring, and coming back into 15s and not having that space is hard, but it just brings out another side of my game, and it's really exciting. I do love playing 15s, and so yeah, it's just come a bit sooner than I thought.
Okay. And so last week got cancelled, and so this was the first time that you've played with the new laws. How does that compare?
Yeah, so obviously we're gutted that it got postponed last week, but that's the world we live in at the moment. So yeah, a bit frustrating. The new rules make the game so much quicker, and I guess that works in our favour, us sevens girls coming over from the circuit. So it's quite nice to have a quicker game, but at the same time it just means that we need to be fitter and stronger than ever, and I think that's one of the things that we do have as Wasps, is our fitness. So hopefully in games to come we'll be able to play our opposition.
Okay, and so what's one lesson you could take away from this game?
Momentum. We let them get on top of us in the second half. We really had that momentum in the first half, and we needed to come out and just storm it again. So I think, yeah, just keep the momentum going and just believe that we've still got it in the locker because we had time.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi Abby, welcome to the show. First of all, condolences for today's game. How frustrated do you feel about how it went today?
Yeah, it always is frustrating to get a loss, especially like we're defending like our home territory, but there's a lot of learnings that we can take on that. It's our first run out of the season, so it's kind of like, what do you do with that? And now we go away, we're going to look back at it, and then we'll be raring coming out for next week. So it's frustrating, but we're just going to have to build on it now. But it's good to get that first one out of the way as well. So
yeah, and like you say, first one's out the way now. Do you feel adapted after, of course, you've had the delay, you would have had first game last weekend. Do you feel like you've caught up to speed with everyone else?
Yeah, I'd say that we are. I think that first like 2/3 of the game, we're out there, we're putting in a shift, and then it's just the last little bit. And I feel like we were fully prepared for this game. Like, we'd done all the prep, we've been there ready to do it. So it's just like, now it's how can we make those little tweaks, because it wasn't like we were making like massive issues, we were just making little errors which Quins capitalised on. And in this, how competitive the Allianz 15s is now I say Allianz, that like people just capitalise on it. So it's just, how do we eliminate those errors now?
Yeah, right. And you've been playing for England Sevens, so how does it feel to be playing 15s again?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've transitioned back into the forwards, so there's not as much space, and I've probably taken more contact in there than I have in probably about 2 years in a game. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but I feel like I'm now finally starting to find my feet. It's just those little bits now of what I can bring into my skills set that I've come from with sevens, and how I can bring that into our forwards game, because at the end of the day, I'm not just a run up the jumper forward, I'm ball handling, I got feet, and that's come from the past 2 years. So it's how I now move this into this game. So I'm still working on that, but I feel like I'm on the right path.
Great, yeah, and that's a great lead into something I'm curious about. Where do you think, in the broader team perspective, there could be room for improvement?
I think it's winning set piece. That's a big one for us with our line outs. We need to make sure that we win our set piece. So that, when we go into next week, we'll be on that next week, and I know that we will be. And then how we can just play to our strengths a little bit more. Like, sometimes we don't need to just be going straight up the middle. Like, our backs are absolutely insane. Like, if you look at the calibre of our backs, like, people should be scared of our backs, and they are. Like, so we can use them a lot more often, but it's just like how we as forwards build on what we're doing to give them the correct platform to play off of. So I think that going into next week, that's one thing that we'll be keen working on.
Right, yeah, and a lot of new names on the team as well. Do you feel like you have what it takes to win this now?
Yeah, 100%. That, like, without a shadow of a doubt, like, the calibre of our team, like, is massive. We've got massive amount of potential. Like, we've got different ranges of girls from the age of, like, 18 up to, I don't even know how old our oldest lady is, but like, the amount of talent that we have across the board, like, we are there, and we are up there with the top teams in the league, and we're going out there to win this season. So we got to bin this one off, and we got to move on to Worcester next week, just all guns blazing.
What an introduction to the Premier 15s. It has been such a fantastic day and an epic game. How did you find it?
Yeah, interesting game. I mean, I did say that I thought it was going to end up as a similar result as last time they faced off against each other, and I do think I was pretty accurate with that prediction. Wasps started strong, but in the end, Harlequins did have it. Alright, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go anywhere, like this video, subscribe to our channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow us across all social media at Women's Rugby Show, and tell everyone you know that loves women's rugby about the Women's Rugby Show.
Head over to Regret RFC, and when you're there, put in Women's Rugby Show for a discount on us.
Yes, and we'll leave you with some more great Women's Rugby Show content, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye for now.